Welcome back to GBGuns. I hope you remember the beautiful, incredible Variant 1 non-NFA firearm from Storm Industries. Very, very cool gun. Quickly became one of my favorites as a go-to mid-size, lightweight rifle. We've got another one in from Storm today, and this one is of a different nature and is legal in all 50 states at the time of this recording. 50 state legal, Storm 15, coming up next on GBGuns. So, I know what you're thinking. How the heck is something 50 state legal in an AR-15? Storm has very cleverly created this lower that you see here, devoid of a mag release. There is no cut in that receiver to be able to release the magazine. That makes this a fixed magazine rifle, which helps it avoid a bunch of other restrictions. We're going to go over all of those features and what all you get in it, including chamber flag, which I know some people say, oh, why do you show that little stuff? Well, because these are the annoying things that you get to a range, they require them, you don't have them, and you end up dropping a couple bucks. Nice orange bright chamber flag included with the rifle. And chances are, if you're in California, New York, Connecticut, Vermont, any of those rebel states where the Constitution doesn't apply, you're probably going to ranges that also require a chamber flag. Also in it, you get one of these rather beefy, decent style of trigger locks, not the cable kind, which I think is pretty cool. And the manual, yes folks, we are going to show the manual as we always do. Really impressed me, and I want to show you why. It's not just your standard AR manual that comes with it. You also get a nice bottle of Rand CLP. But flipping through this thing, we got, of course, a nice, large, bright, and clear font. But there's some actual useful information in here if you're new to the ARs. For example, all the major parts labeled nice and clearly. Steps on lubrication and a diagram showing you where to lubricate. Very nice. It explains some restrictions. For example, they do not want you to use steel cased ammunition, but it's a nice, clear, easy to read, short read intro to AR-15s, which I think is pretty cool because some folks, especially those that live in restricted states, don't have a lot of experience with them, and this might be their first rifle. So, on to the rifle itself. We've got a billet receiver set here that, as I showed, does not have a magazine release, fixed 10-round magazine. How it gets loaded, we'll show you in a bit. Magpul MOE furniture, adjustable stock. Why? Because as far as I know, and at the time of this filming, there aren't restrictions on having adjustable stock on a fixed magazine rifle. We've got our castle nut dually staked. This first stake, not so great. That stake definitely on there, so this castle nut is not coming loose. You might notice the rear takedown pin sticks out a bit for easy access, which is nice. Trigger guard is integrated into that billet lower receiver. Storm engraved on the top of the receiver. Nice clean lines. It's got the classic Delta ring and some Magpul polymer furniture up front. We have a gas block with rail in case you want to run your front sight up there. And then this nice thick profile barrel without a bayonet lug or grenade launcher cuts, any of those things that would be required. Storm makes their barrels in-house. 5.56 NATO with a 1-in-9 twist and an A2 style muzzle device. I'm going to avoid certain phrases in case anyone's watching from a state where there are crazy restrictions. So, taking a look inside, I'm going to pop the rear pin and get our bolt carrier out. This does look fired because they test fire all of their rifles. You can see that our staking is definitely pressing on those bolts. That'll help prevent the gas key from coming loose ever. Everything else looks fairly standard mil spec. We'll take a look at our bolt itself. Yummy. Don't you just love it when your hands get all dirty? Cam pin's out. Here's our bolt. And it looks like we do have magnetic particle inspection stamped on there. And see if we have the upgraded extractor setup. We do. We've got the spring with the dual O-ring, so an O-ring on the outside and a piece of rubber inside there. What that does is help extend the life and the toughness of your extractor spring to help keep things running smoothly. Get this guy tossed back together. And we'll take a look at the receivers themselves. It's so funny when throwing bolts back together, sometimes I put the bolt in the carrier the wrong side, and it's so easy to know which one. You want the extractor to be on the right side. That's this piece here, because obviously that's what's grabbing the rounds to kick them out. Drop all this back in. Oh, look at that, a cotter pin that actually wants to play. Except I think I missed. Yep. It happens, folks. And I do my best to keep it real. There we go. And of course, this time the cotter pin doesn't want. There we go. Everything's back in. I'm going to wash my hands off real quick, and we'll take a look at the rest of the gun. Alright, I'm back. So, get our charging handle out. And we can pop this front pin. Look in our lower receiver. Our nice GI style trigger. Darkstorm's own buffer that is marked with the weight, which is great. Those that are new, adjusting your buffer weight can help you change the cyclic rate of the firearm and reduce recoil. So if you're looking to have a smoother shooting, softer shooting rifle, increasing the buffer weight can help with that without having to adjust the gas system. And we can see our engravings on this upper receiver, though it looks GI. It is a billet piece made by Darkstorm in New York, and we have our M4 feed ramps in there that helps increase reliability. So as far as loading this thing, since I'm sure many of you are curious, especially those like me that live in a free state, wondering how the folks behind enemy lines do it, you have a couple options. You can take this extended pin and pull it, pop open, and load into the magazine there. Or there's another device that I have here made by Bear Flag Defense. I'll explain this next. So the idea behind this thing, it is, well, quite literally a clip. You load your rounds in here. It holds 10 rounds for the 10 round internal box magazine, and load through the ejection port. With this loaded, it gets shoved in the ejection port. You bring this handle down and it feeds it full. I'm going to try to do it on camera for you here. If it doesn't work on the tabletop, rest assured I will show it to you in shooting impressions. Give me a second to load this thing up real quick. And a discovery I made while loading this and learning it is you want to do one at a time and let gravity help you. So basically keep the rounds down here by having the round end lower and work the handle back a little bit as you feed them in. The reason why you want to do that is if you don't have that pressure when you handle this, the rounds can twist and get turned sideways, and it's a little bit difficult to get them apart. Not impossible though, because if you squeeze this end, you can slide this cap off and disassemble this. In fact, it looks like I missed in putting it back together. Alright, so we're now loaded. This is full, we have some pressure there. You can see that with the handle all the way at the top that this is full. And this is effectively a clip in the old school, something that holds cartridges away. So throw it in the ejection port, obviously the bullet goes forward, shove down, remove. We know we've got them all out of there because the follower is up there. And presto, we've got a full loaded 10-round magazine. Pretty darn quick. I think it's a pretty cool accessory. Means that if something like this is your only choice or best choice for self-defense, you've at least got somewhat of a fighting chance. It's never going to beat mag release and reloading, but I think it could work. Unloading this, of course, you've got to let the bolt go forward, which means that one's going to be in the chamber. With the 10-round magazine being full of 10 rounds, it is tough to press down and have the bolt skip over because the magazine's full. So one round goes in the chamber. That's why I've got it on safe here. Shotgun it, unload the magazine by just flipping the rounds out of it, then eject the one out of the chamber that went in there to clear it. When we get this out to the range, we're going to practice doing that loading while holding the rifle. It's just as much of an experiment for me as it is a learning lesson for y'all because, well, I fled California. But like I said, as of the time of filming this, this rifle is 50 state legal, and I think an awesome option for the millions of people living in states that refuse to recognize our God-given rights. When we go out to the range, we will also do some accuracy testing. I'll slap an optic on here and we'll find out which loads do the best in here. The instruction manual does recommend some specific loads. We'll see if we have those on hand. If not, we'll shoot and also see how this handguard holds up. I've not worked with a rifle equipped like this before, so I'm looking forward to it. Let me know what your thoughts are on this below. I'm not condoning giving in to the unconstitutional laws that are out there, but as an individual, your safest bet in the meantime while waiting for freedom is to comply. And I think it's pretty cool that Storm Industries is providing an option for those folks. And like I said, there's millions of y'all in California, folks in New York, Connecticut, Vermont, all those states that sadly are not part of the union. So good on Darkstorm for providing you an option. How this performs, we'll see when we get to the range. Let me know what your thoughts are. Thanks for watching.